What's up, board fam? Eric here. And one thing I'm tired of having to do is justify gay existence in media. It's really annoying. It's frustrating. It's wearing thin on me, and my demeanor is fading away because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of ignorant people who have absolutely no understanding, no literacy, no comprehension, no information about the gay community or gay history or any of these things, trying to rationalize or explain or wave wands and make things the way they want with no gay people in it. I'm tired of having to deal with this because the reality is that media is not dominated by gay people. I don't know what these guys think or how they come to this conclusion, but it's not, and I will have statistics to back that up if anybody brings it up in this video. Now, this is a video that was sent to me. Let me see what the creator's name is on his channel. Anton Daniels, not familiar with him, but 1.21 million subscribers, which is why I decided to react to this video. Because what he's doing is he's watching TikToks of people crashing out and complaining because we got a tiny bit of gay character stuff in Stranger Things season 5. The tiniest bit possible. Like 8 minutes of a 5-season series. It's too much gay for these people. It's crazy. So the title of this is, why are they pushing a gay agenda in Stranger Things? I didn't know that a person just being gay is a gay agenda. This is the dumb fucking shit that I'm talking about. Alive while gay, gay agenda. Existing in something, gay agenda. Gay person at pizza, gay agenda. Gay character talks about something gay on a TV show, gay agenda. It's ridiculous. And the reason why this stuff is actual homophobia is because it's an irrational response to this. And that is one of the core fundamental aspects of homophobia, is an irrational response. There's really no reason to be mad about this. But we're going to watch this video. I'm going to react to this because I think it's important. I think it's important to dismantle this stuff as often as I can, right? So let's watch the video, see what the TikToks have to say, see what Anton has to say, and I will be correcting this a lot. So get ready for a lot of pauses. You might want to grab a drink and grab some snacks. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Why are they pushing a gay agenda in Stranger Things?
Can somebody explain to me why now in every movie or TV show somebody has to be gay? One of the main characters always has to be gay, and it adds absolutely nothing to the story. It's completely forced.
False. Very quickly, a bunch of wrong stuff in there. Number one, not forced. Forced insinuates that gay people don't belong somewhere. That is just, that's crazy. That's crazy. Secondly, not adding something to the story. If we're talking specifically about Stranger Things, because I don't know what other stuff he's talking about, but if we're talking specifically about Stranger Things, it is very important to the story. It is a key part of Will's story, which is one of the, I've heard complaints of this from both sides. People saying it doesn't matter at all, and people saying it matters too much. So it's one or the other. The fact that y'all have different takes on it means that it's not either one of those things. It is simply just a part of his story. That's it. Also, TV shows, less than 9% on the, I guess on the low end it'd be like 8 point something, on the high end 9.3. The GLAAD, when they do their surveys, around, I guess we'll say 9%, around 9% of all the TV shows that they tracked, it was hundreds of TV shows, 9% had a gay character in it. Not even a gay lead, just a gay character. That's not even enough to even, like complaining about that is crazy. So 9% of media has gay people in it, just existing in it, and this is why y'all are crashing out? Secondly, if I had someone in front of me right now like this guy and I said, name 10 TV shows where gay characters are the lead characters, he would struggle to do it. Because I've asked people in my fucking comments, I said, name a bunch of gay stuff that you've watched where there's so much gay stuff in it, it's all over everywhere, right? You can't even do it. You couldn't even name 5. I would say from 2025, name it. Give me some. Give me 10. 10 shows that you watched that had gay people in it. And then I want you to give me a list of all the shows you watched that doesn't have gay people in it. I wonder which side of that list is larger. I wonder which one.
Forced. Will in Stranger Things, yes, we know he's gay. You can infer that. If you watch the show, you can see all the subtle hints they drop throughout the show and make an educated guess that he's probably not straight.
But you didn't know for sure. You didn't know for sure, right? You, like, if the show would have ended and they never explicitly stated that he was gay, you wouldn't know for sure. That's number one. Number two is coming out is not for you guys. It is for the person who is coming out. It is for the person who is doing the coming out, not everyone else. Because everyone else, their lives are going to be the same no matter what the person says, right? So no matter what he says, their lives are not going to change in any major way unless he's dating the person that he's coming out to. That would be kind of awkward. But it's for the person coming out so they don't have to have the burden of this lie that they're keeping from their friends. It's a lie by omission. They're not telling anybody. They don't want that burden. Which, by the way, I do also want to point out, before anybody tries to come for me in the comments about this, everyone, every single person watching this video, regardless of who you are, has secrets that you don't tell people. Everybody does. Everyone does. So the fact that a person who is gay wants to tell people that they care about that they are gay, that says something about the level of that secret and what it means to them. And it's about them. It's not about everybody else. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of what coming out is.
But what we didn't need was a 10-minute monologue, a coming out party in front of all his friends and family while everybody's trying to save the world.
It doesn't matter if you need it or not. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's an irrelevant point. You don't need anything. You don't even need to watch the show, right? You do something because you choose to do it. The people that made the show chose to put that in there. That's what they decided to do. So it doesn't matter if you needed it. Doesn't matter. This isn't Burger King. This isn't McDonald's. This isn't some place where you go through the drive-thru and you're like, I'll take this, but I don't want these things on it. That's not how it works. You're watching a piece of art provided to you by someone else who took the time to make it. So it doesn't matter if you needed it. It doesn't matter if you asked for it. None of those things matter. It is absolutely irrelevant from the people that are making the media that you're consuming.
You're telling me nobody would have stood up and said, hey, we get it, you like dick, but we are going to die tomorrow regardless of your sexuality.
Well, liking dick is probably laziest ways you could break down being gay. Not only does it denote like an attraction to a specific sexual organ, which is really weird, but it also completely misses the point of what it is to be a gay person. Like, this is why people like this guy shouldn't even be commenting on this. Shouldn't even be commenting on this. Giving advice to the people that wrote this, that probably spent a lot of time putting it together and thinking about how it's going to reflect the gay community, shouldn't even be giving advice on this. Like, to be quite honest.
This show is set from 1983 to 1987.
Right.
The kids are supposed to be from the ages of 12 to 16, 17, between that whole time period. Mm-hmm. I highly doubt a 16-year-old kid is going to have a coming out party in the 1980s.
It's funny you mention that. I was a kid in the 80s. I was a gay kid in the 80s. And you know how I came out to all of my friends in the 80s? In a room together with a big chunk of my friends. That's literally how I came out to everybody. It was me and probably about 7 or 8 of my close friends sitting in a room together, and I came out to them in the 80s. That's how I did it. Crazy, right? Crazy that I actually grew up in that era. Not only did I grow up in that era, but I have studied queer history quite extensively. So you're just wrong. You're absolutely wrong. 100%. With no proof of what you're saying. You have no proof of it. You don't even have an anecdotal story to share because you're too young to even fucking know.
It was not accepted like it is today.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You do realize why it's more accepted today than it was back then. I wonder what has happened over the years that has made it safer and better for gay people to exist openly in the world. Could it be this thing called visibility so that people know that there's a lot of gay people out there, right? So when more people know that there's a lot of gay people out there, it starts to make it easier for gay people to just live their lives openly in public, which requires them to do what? Oh, it requires them to come out. It requires people to know who they are. So yes, there were gay people coming out in the 80s and 90s. It did happen. And unfortunately, a lot of people do not get the rosy version of what Will got, right? They don't get that. They don't get accepted by everyone like that. Not typically. I was one of the lucky ones where I was accepted. Every single friend that I came out to in the 80s, I'm still friends with today. All the ones that are still with us. I'm friends with them, and all of them are straight. All of them. And the only reason we even have the things we have right now is because of people like me, and in this story, people like Will, who did decide to come out. The ignorance, the stupidity to comment on something that you don't even know about.
It wouldn't happen. It's not realistic, and it's forced. Like I said, completely
realistic in Stranger Things. So all the other character elements that happened during the episode, the stuff falling from the ceiling, falling through floors, getting up on a table, all this goo coming on them, fighting all the shit in the fucking upside down, all of that is okay. But a character who has a coming out moment that takes like 8 minutes of the episode, that's a problem. That's unrealistic and forced. We're just going to leave it at that.
Really forced. And especially the way they did it. If anything, you should have just had a conversation with Mike or his mom, came out that way, had it a little secret, and he would have felt better.
I'm so glad when a person who has no concept of what coming out in the 80s was like tells us, me, someone who did come out in the 80s, how we should have done it. How we should have done it. Let me explain to you why that is not a way that people typically do come out. Because then that secret that we have, that burden shifts to that one person. And then that person shares the secret that we have, and they become an accomplice to that secret, which means if they're around other people that don't know that that person is gay, me or Will in this situation, and those people go, I wonder, do you think Will is gay? Then you put them in a position where they either have to lie to keep your secret, or they backstab you by telling somebody else the secret that they have been trusted with. Typically, gay people don't want to do that. We don't want to put people in a position to keep a secret on our behalf. So that's why you come out to as many people as you can in your life, so you don't have to do that. But again, just all this wisdom from you. Give me more wisdom.
Just like how Robin did. Nobody had a problem with Robin coming out because it was written way better and it did not feel forced. It was more natural.
Right. No, the reason why is because in the gay community, even though all gay people, women and men, experience bigotry and homophobia, gay men suffer significantly more bigotry and prejudice from straight men, from their straight counterparts. Significantly more. It's all, you can look this up. Again, everything I'm saying to you is either anecdotal, which I will say if it is, or it's stuff that you can research. Gay men receive much more prejudice about this stuff. Not to mention, Will is a bigger character than Robin is. A much bigger character on the show. Continue.
And I have no problem with gay people. This isn't a homophobic thing.
Right, so that's a denial of prejudice. Typically, when you say something like that, you're doing it because you know what you're saying is prejudice, and you're trying to deny that. You're trying to make it seem like, hey, I'm not a bad person. I just think that people should stay in the closet. No homophobia there. Tell like one or two people, but keep the rest of that shit in the closet. Okay.
But I believe that all these TV shows and movie producers and directors, they just take a big bag of money and completely fuck up their show just so they can make some extra cash.
Right. So that's that. And what proof do you have of that when it comes to the Duffers and Stranger Things? Oh, none. You have zero. You have zero proof. Matter of fact, they've gone on record saying that this is exactly what they wanted. And they gave roses to Noah for his performance. So literally everything tells us that that's not what happened. But whatever you need to justify your homophobia.
And that's true.
Not true. It's all false, bro. It's all false. That's true. Okay.
And I don't know what this gay agenda has always been.
There's no gay agenda. The gay agenda is just wanting to be accepted in society. One gay character with 8 minutes of time on a show with 5 seasons has y'all crashing out. Clearly, it's homophobia.
Especially here in our movies and the United States of America. I remember, when my daughter was much younger and I was looking for a family-friendly show that wasn't pushing an agenda,
right,
but just was fun to...
Gay people are family-friendly. Gay people existing are not anti-family friendly. I reject that. And my existence is not the antithesis to family. So I reject that.
Watch, and it was something that was entertaining that we could regularly watch. whenever a new episode dropped. And
Right.
so I decided to go with The Flash, right? And the Flash that was on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And at first it seemed cool and everything just seemed regular and he was just fighting enemies and all of that other stuff.
It's funny you mentioned The Flash. I'm literally an expert on this show, so I'm curious to where you're going to go with this. I covered The Flash for the entire series run. I reviewed every single episode and did tons of podcasts about it. So I'm curious to what the gay agenda is on The Flash. Let's see where you're going to go with this.
And as the seasons progressed, they introduced and usually the poster child for it. In this instance, it was a white boy for the Stranger Things things. But, the poster child is usually the black guy. So, he comes into it and clearly in everything that he do, you could tell he was sassy in real life.
Okay. So the issue here is, I'm assuming you're talking about Keenan Lonsdale, who's playing Wally West, who in the show was not gay. He had a girlfriend on the show. And sassy is a word that is used as a negative, a pejorative towards gay people. It's a way to make men feel less of a man by using the term sassy. So you're talking about Keenan Lonsdale, you're talking about Wally West, who was not a gay character on the show. At all. 100%. So let's see where you're going to go with this lie.
That's how flaming the whole situation was.
Right.
And of course, they had to make sure that he coming home. He came on out and it just became a thing. And I just had to stop watching the series altogether.
That, everyone, is a lie. Wally West on the Flash TV show was not gay. Matter of fact, just to show the stupidity on display here, there was another gay actor on the show in the first season that he never knew about. The character of Captain Cold is played by a gay actor. So here he is lying and also completely ignorant in this place. Like, you didn't even notice that a season 1 actor was openly gay on the series. But the guy that comes in later, who's playing Wally West, who is gay in real life, not on the show, that's the one you have a problem with. The lies. Liza Minnelli here, sir.
And, people can do whatever it is that they want to do inside of their own household, but why are they pushing it as an agenda and in every single?
So what was the agenda? That he was a gay person? That's the agenda? I mean, so just existing while gay is the problem. So when I walk outside as a gay person, I am literally an agenda from being present in the world. Because here's the thing, Keenan Lonsdale was not a gay character in The Flash, meaning that your issue with him is not the show or the character he portrayed or anything, because none of that stuff was going on. Which, by the way, still, there's nothing wrong with that. If he was a gay character in the show, I would still defend it. But by your standard here, you're saying that that was the problem with the show, and they should keep it in the bedroom, keep it in their house, whatever, when in fact, that's what he was doing because he wasn't playing a gay character on the show.
Movie. I mean, I'm expecting to see it in cartoons, movies, anything.
Name some. Because you just lied about The Flash. So give me some more. Name some other ones. I'd love to know. And this is typical of a lot of people with homophobic language and homophobic behavior, is they just, in their minds, they believe something is happening that isn't really happening. And it's an actual issue. It is a mental issue. It is irrational, as I said.
Anything. It could be an action-packed flick, and they have to make sure that they put that in there.
So give some examples. You gave one. Give some more examples. Talk specifically about what you're saying. An action-packed movie with gay shit in it. Tell me what movie you're talking about. What blockbuster action-packed movie have you watched that has gay stuff in it? I need you to name one.
And they are going to make sure that they emphasize it and they throw it in your face, and you're going to have to recognize that this is something that's happening.
Right. So you're afraid of things that are happening in the world? That's your fear? Oh, what am I going to do? This person exists. How am I going to cope with this? How am I going to explain to my family that gay people are real? They're not unicorns. They're not Bigfoot. None of that. No, like that to you is an agenda. That's a problem. Explaining that we really exist. Spoiler alert, we do. Gay people exist. We are here. We're not going back in the closet so you can feel better about yourself, or you're too much of a bigot to explain to your family that gay people are real. Holy shit. I'm supposed to live my life in secret because you're too soy? You're too much of a snowflake? Give me a break.
And you know what? Some people that's online talking about how it's empowering and all of that. If you're living your life and doing whatever it is that you do, why do you need somebody else to empower you to be whatever it is that you're going to be?
Let's look up the definition of empowering. This is why empowering is so important. This is why it's a big deal. This is the version of the definition that's being used when we're talking about like empowering people who are marginalized in media and stuff like that. Make someone stronger and more confident, especially in controlling their life and claiming their rights. What's wrong with this? What is wrong with empowering people who are marginalized and allowing them to feel like they can have control of their life and they can claim their rights? What is wrong with that? What's the issue with that, sir? What is the problem by telling gay people, hey, you have control of your life and you have rights? What's the issue with that? All right, let's jump back to the video.
To do whatever it is that you want to do inside of your bedroom. I don't need anybody to empower me to be married. I don't need anybody to empower me to take care of my children. I do not need anybody to empower me to take care of my business and ensure that I can be more successful than I am today.
Okay, great. So here's the thing. Being straight is legal everywhere in the world. Being gay is actually illegal in over 60 countries and punishable by death in over a dozen of those. So you can do all of those things without fear of any pushback whatsoever for being straight, because we're talking specifically about sexuality. Being gay is illegal in over 60 countries. So yeah, you're not going to have any issue doing any of those things because of your sexuality. And that's the only metric. That's the only standard we're talking about here.
I am going to do the thing that is best for my family, that's best for my kid, that's best for my situation.
And you're not going to receive any pushback for being straight.
And that's how I'm going to move. But we always, even going into the new year, are dealing with an agenda that's being pushed. And I don't even know.
So what is the agenda? What is the agenda? That you're going to end up sucking dick or something? Is that what it is? I've watched a ton of these videos. I've reacted to a ton of these videos. I'm still not sure what the agenda actually is. And I'm sure he's going to keep saying it throughout this video. I'm sure he's going to keep saying it. And maybe we'll figure out by the end what the actual agenda is. Because if it's simply existing, then that would be talking about a genocide of an entire group of people. Right? If the agenda is for us to be accepted for existing, then the opposite of that is rejected for existing and a genocide for an entire group of people. So I hope that that's not what he's talking about, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get more info on it later.
Oh, why you write that into it? Like, why is that a thing? This is supposed to be said in what, the 80s in Indiana?
Yes. Yeah.
How is this a thing that this is being pushed as an agenda, even when it's a time-sensitive film?
So that would mean that we would have to look at Indiana in the 80s to see if gay people were out and open in the 80s. So let's take a look what we have over here. History of Pride. This is in Indiana. This is indypride.org. So this took place in the mid-80s. So this is the Essex House Hotel, established in 1981. 1982 to 1983, the Greater Indianapolis Gay Business Association hosted another LGBTQ community event, a Labor Day picnic in Westlake Park. It sounds like people were out and open publicly in 1982 and 1983. It's interesting. So all this time, since the 80s, and that agenda still hasn't taken hold yet? Wonder what it's waiting for. Here we go, Stranger Things era, 1983 and 1984. On June 26, 1988, Justice Inc. expanded the annual Pride celebration. The organization hosted a festival at the once-known Indianapolis Sports Center for the first time. An LGBTQ event was not hosted in another restaurant, bar, or pub. Meaning, started at 83, 84, and then finally in 1988, they were able to actually have a proper Pride event. Wow, looks like Looks like there was a lot of pride stuff happening in Indianapolis in the 80s. But what does that mean? I mean, it's just history, right? It's just history. It means that I actually took the time to look it up before I turned on my camera and made myself sound really fucking dumb. But let's continue.
Time-sensitive series that is trying to convey a point, and it's about survival.
No, it's not. The show is not completely about survival. And if you try to pretend that it is, it's just bad faith. Absolutely bad faith. The show is not all about survival. The last hour of the finale is basically the characters talking about their relationships in their life. So it's bad faith. That's a completely bullshit statement. Continue.
So I don't know. That's my opinion. Maybe it's a hot take. I don't think it's really a hot take, but if somebody has
It's not a hot take. It's just an ignorant one. It's just very ignorant.
Explanation or disagrees with me, let me know down in the comments.
Anybody else see the season 5 finale of Stranger Things?
Yes, the 2-hour finale. Yeah, we saw it.
This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say they're forcing LGBTQ plus representation, like in our shows and movies that we watch.
So forcing, I don't like that word. I reject it because that means that you're insisting that people don't belong somewhere, so they're forcing themselves in a place. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's true. Secondly, there was literally no speaking parts or anything in reference to LGBTQ stuff in a big way in that finale. I think we got the scene with Will in the bar, like at the very end. What you're talking about is the penultimate episode, the one that came before the finale. But continue.
Stranger Things was just like a normal show.
Right. I hate the word normal when we're talking about something that is dealing with social issues, because then you're insisting that something is abnormal, and normal is subjective anyway, right? So if we're going to use the word normal, let's flip it around a little bit. If you are a straight person and you're in a gay bar, then the normal state of being in that bar is gay, and the abnormal state is being straight. But I don't like to refer to people as abnormal. I find it very disrespectful. I prefer typical and atypical because it's an inoffensive term, right? So typically people in a gay bar would be gay, but atypically they would be straight. So it's a much nicer way of putting it. But that requires you to have compassion and concern for other people existing in the world. When you use the term normal, you are trying to other people and make them feel like they're not normal. And that word is loaded. So don't use normal to refer to other people's state of being. It's extremely disrespectful.
And it didn't have all these woke things in it. And then
woke in 2026 I guess this was late 2025. But using woke as a pejorative in 2026 is crazy.
Randomly, season 5, mind you, we've waited years for season 5, right. And they make Will gay, and they make the whole thing.
They didn't make Will gay. They revealed he was gay. There's always been hints of him being gay, which is weird because the last guy we watched said it was so obvious that he was gay, right? He's like, oh, it's so obvious. But here in the second video that Anton is watching, you're saying the opposite. It's almost like they had to say it because some people didn't know. Right? It's almost like that was the situation. Let's continue.
About Will coming out. Literally, there's people fucking dying, and we're worried about Will coming out. Who gives a shit?
Well, he does, because he's the one that came out. It's important to him. And this happens in moments of stress with people. When you don't know whether you're going to live or die, you'll just info dump stuff on someone else because you want them to know before things are over. Right? It's a coping mechanism with trauma and stress that people do. They want to reveal things that would possibly be a secret or something they haven't told someone else they care about. And it's really weird that we're hyper fixated on the Will situation when he's sitting in a room, not in immediate danger from anything, talking to all of his friends. But we're ignoring all of the other interpersonal conversations that happen with other characters in the same episode during actual traumatic events, right? Like things that were happening to them at the time when they're having personal conversations. There's a couple in there somewhere with a ring involved and all of that, and they thought they were going to die, so they started revealing a bunch of secrets about themselves. But nobody's complaining about that. But the gay character revealing that to his friends, everyone on the internet seems to have some sort of hot take about that one. I wonder what the determining factor is for that. I wonder what the issue is with a gay character feeling empowered about their lives and coming out to their friends, how that is an issue, but none of the other reveals or conversations or anything. I wonder why those are all right, but the gay kid coming out is a problem. I wonder what the issue with that is.
You're gay. Okay, that's cool. Next. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get why they had to put that in there. And that's what I mean.
They don't have to do anything. It's their show. They can write it the way they want. So it doesn't really matter. They chose to do it. Okay.
By it's forced in there. This
not forced.
This was not natural. Okay, this was random.
Right. So now gay people are not natural. Got it. And before people come in the comments, you're like, oh, she's talking about it not being natural in the show and everything. Nothing is natural in a show that is being written by other people in a fictional world about characters. So the only way she could have meant that is about the gay person existing in the show. Because otherwise, that would mean complete lack of media literacy. 100% lack of media literacy. If you don't understand that things in the show, it's not a reality TV show where things are just happening naturally. Someone sat down and wrote the show.
We did not see this shit coming. We did not think they were going to make the season 5 ender him coming out as gay.
Two things. One, wasn't the ender, penultimate episode. I don't know why people keep saying it's the finale. It wasn't the finale. It happened in the episode before the finale. Secondly, again, she reaffirmed that no one saw this coming. But the guy before this said that it was super obvious. And Anton here, who's reacting to this, won't address that because it breaks whatever narrative he's trying to convey with this video. It breaks that narrative. Either it was super obvious or no one saw it coming. Because if you say that people didn't know, that some people didn't know, then that would do away with the concept that Will didn't have to come out because it was super obvious. Right? Let's continue.
You know what I'm saying? I believe they mentioned him like saying he doesn't like girls in like season 3 or something like that. And that's good. That's fine. You know what I mean? But they didn't carry that on until the last season.
You know what's really weird to me is all of these people who seem super, super worried and concerned about how this story played out don't really remember stuff that happened in previous seasons. Now, I'm not saying you have to know everything, but if you're going to turn on your camera and complain about something because you feel like it doesn't belong or it's forced or it's out of character, something you should probably know a lot about is the show and the character before you turn on your camera and you start saying stuff like this. Because if you don't, then it feels like you're just chasing trends and saying things to say things to get in the algorithm. That's what it feels like. If you're that concerned about a character in a show where you don't even remember whether or not they said they were gay in a previous season, it tells me that you probably shouldn't be someone making a video talking about whether or not it feels forced.
I just think that's weird. Like, I just think it's like, does that make sense? I feel like I'm not making sense.
No, you're making perfect sense.
No, she's not. And the fact that you sat here and watched these two videos back to back and did not even acknowledge or comprehend that they are saying the opposite of each other when it comes to this storyline is crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me.
It was forced.
It was not
and then
forced.
it had to be a part of a finale.
It wasn't
and
in
that's
the
why
finale.
it becomes a talking point. Now,
it wasn't a talking point because of that, because it wasn't in the finale. Jesus Christ.
I don't know if that's a strategy.
What's the strategy? That one gay character in the main cast came out in the finale when the vast majority of the characters on the show are straight except for like one other character. So that's too many? 2 gay characters out of like 20 is too many for you? Okay. Especially when we've been watching a show where everyone says it was super, super obvious that he was gay. That's the crazy part to me.
Which is a bad strategy because I think that great series can live.
Bad strategy, even though it made $25 million in the movie theater. The biggest TV show in the world. $25 million in the movie theater. But it's a bad strategy. And keep in mind, that was the finale episode after the one they're complaining about.
Live on their own without the controversy. And Stranger Things obviously has a huge, massive following. And it's a huge hit. It's been a hit since it first came out. And it doesn't need the clickbait titles to get people to talk about the series itself. The series itself can exist, and it's good enough to where you don't have to worry about propaganda and agendas being pushed.
You do realize that you just dismissed the claims that were made previously in this video, right? If the show is super popular and it doesn't have to do any of these things, it's not propaganda, right? It's not propaganda. It's not clickbait. More on that in a second. But if it doesn't have to do all of these things because of how popular it is, then it doesn't have to do them, which means that the people who made the show chose to put it in the show. That's what that means. So that breaks down a foundational part of the argument that it's an agenda being pushed by some nebulous overlords of media because they didn't have to do it. Secondly, the whole clickbait thing or whatever, they don't have to chase clickbait. You do. You guys chase clickbait, right? You're chasing them. They're not chasing you. You are on the coattails of Stranger Things, not the other way around. So them doing this whole gay storyline with Will worked out really well for you guys at the expense of no one else except all the gay people in the world that now have to deal with all of this bigotry. You see how that works? The show does it. They put the character in there. They do the gay reveal. The series is over and they don't have to worry about it anymore. But now people like me, gay people like me, have to deal with this shit. People riding on the coattails of Stranger Things and pushing bigotry out to the world. And honestly, a lot of it's just bad faith stuff. It's a bunch of bad faith shit that we have to deal with for clout. That's what we're doing here. We're exchanging our well-being for clout on these guys' behalf. It's pretty crazy.
And things could just naturally be going in there. And so
that's not the way shows work. Again, it's not reality TV. What do you mean by naturally? That doesn't make any sense in the context of this. Shows are, people sit down and premeditatively write these shows. I don't even know what that means, naturally. What the fuck does that even mean?
You know, when you start to think about this, and if I was the person that was acting as it, I would be like, man, why I got to do this? Why is this a thing? Why do I have to sit here and be a part of this forced agenda where I have
Noah's
to act
gay, by the way,
and do that? And me personally, I just couldn't do something like that.
Oh, so it's almost like even for a big paycheck in a TV show, you couldn't do 8 minutes of dialogue to act like a gay person. You couldn't even do that. But you're so soft on all of this, and you're so worried about a gay agenda, which I'm assuming you're, again, because you've never really explained what you mean by that, so I just have to extrapolate what it is that you're talking about here. I'm assuming you mean that the gay agenda is somehow forcing gayness on people to make people gay, right? We'll push it that far because, and we'll pull it back in a second, but we'll push it that far for a second. But you can't even pretend to be gay on a TV show. So we're supposed to believe that a gay character popping up in like one in 400 TV shows, that's going to make you suck dick, right? That you're going to see this gay character, you're going to hit up Grindr or Scruff or whatever the fuck you're using nowadays, and you're going to hit somebody up to suck their dick because there's a gay character in Stranger Things. Is that what we're supposed to believe here? You see how irrational this is? That doesn't even make any sense. But if we pull it back here for a second, and you take the agenda another direction, it could be that gay people just want to be in media. We want our stories to be out there. We want to see ourselves in some of these shows because we get a lot of straight propaganda, right? We get a lot of straight propaganda. So every once in a while, a little gay shit is okay, I think. But anyway, let's continue.
I just couldn't do something like that. That's why I don't want to be a part of no industry. I don't want to be a part of no agenda.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
Want to be a part of what nobody else got going on, because the way that they continue to push these type of agendas into
still don't know what this agenda is, but continue,
mainstream media and into our spheres to try to get us to
are we going to get, hold on, rewind it here, are we going to get a definition for what the agenda is or a description?
The way that they continue to push these type of agendas into mainstream media and into our spheres to try to get us to adjust to their agendas.
The agenda is to push this into the sphere for you to adjust to the agenda? What in the circular fuck does that even mean? Let me rewind that to make sure I heard that correctly.
These type of agendas.
Hold on.
I don't want to be a part of no industry. I don't want to be a part of no agenda. I don't want to be a part of what nobody else got going on.
Okay, so here's where it starts. I'm going to try and pay close attention. I've listened to it twice, maybe third time's a charm.
Because the way that they continue to push these type of agendas into mainstream media and into our spheres to try to get us to adjust to their agendas.
Okay. The agenda is getting you to adjust to the agenda.
I think it's just disrespectful, and it's disrespectful to our intelligence.
Right. So here's the thing. I have been gay since being a teenager, and I have grown up around nothing but straight agenda, straight propaganda, and straight media. And guess what? I'm still gay. Doesn't matter how many times I watch two straight people in public kissing, how many times I watch a straight woman in a bikini with boobs bouncing around, whatever it is. Like, all of that stuff in my face doesn't change the fact that I'm gay. So why is it that I can watch 99.9% straight propaganda and still be gay, but you can't watch 0.1% of gay media, and that is going to change you or fuck with your life or fuck with your marriage? I mean, you got to be super soft. Like, you got to be real fucking weak and fragile for that to affect you. Let's continue.
Keep the storyline going. I don't know. That's just my opinion, though.
I don't think Will's coming out scene was that bad.
The stuff people will do for internet clout. Jeez.
What? It's awful. It's awful. For many reasons.
Okay, so give us some real reasons. I have a feeling they're not going to be real, but let's dismantle this one too, because apparently that's what I do now, is just point out how ignorant people are. Let's go.
One, because he's basically doing a Comic-Con panel to half of Hawkins about his sexuality. And
That's a fallacy argument. It's an absurdity argument, right? He was talking to his friends in a room, coming out to his friends. But let's make it sound as outrageous as possible and absurd as possible, because that's the only way we can really make our bigotry make sense. Let's continue.
you know, this is 1980s Indiana. Are we just forgetting that aspect?
Right, and just a little bit of digging, as I showed a minute ago, in 1980s Indiana, they had a massive gay community with pride events happening, starting in 1983 and blowing all the way up into 1988, and then even bigger in the 1990s. So, what's your point? Let's continue.
But the real reason why it's so bad is because William Byers is being forced out of the closet because he's afraid his abuser will tell his secret and use it against him.
That's an interesting take. So he should have stayed in the closet. That's the opposite of that, right? Stay in the closet and let Vecna hold this over his head. Huh. Interesting, because earlier Anton here was talking about the term empowered. But now you are turning that term on its head and saying that he was forced to do it. Here's the thing. Even if that were the case, even if that's the perspective you want to take on this, it's still part of the story. And we have awful stuff happening to all the characters and trauma they have to deal with. So none of the reasons this person gave in this video show why they shouldn't have done it or what the issue was. Gay person shouldn't come out on a TV show. That's all it boils down to.
That is not empowering. That is the opposite of empowering. Are we all meant to watch that scene and go, "Oh, this is cute"?
No. I don't think that was the intention. But you can take it however you want to take it. Like, whatever you want to take away from that scene, whether you feel happy or sad or whatever, that's on you. But to pretend that scene shouldn't exist because there's an agenda, that's a different story.
Or people going, "Oh, the reason why he's telling everyone is so Vecna can't use it against him." That is not a good thing. My poor boy, my beautiful firstborn son, Will Byers, should have had, within his own time, come out to his mum, his brother, and his friends.
This is one of those times where you're like really going a little too deep into all of it. Yes, under perfect circumstances where someone is allowed to live their lives without some existential threat, yeah, it would be great. It would be great if people didn't have to do things they wouldn't normally do in those moments. That would be wonderful. But that's not the reality of the show. It's also not the reality that these kids live in. Will Byers coming out to force Vecna's hand is a power play on Will's part. It is a power play on his part because he didn't have to do it. He didn't have to. He chose to do it. That's what makes it empowering. You act like he's forced to do it. He hasn't been forced to do it in any way since he was not telling people about this back in season 1. He was never forced in that way. He knew that if he did this thing that he didn't have to do, that he would have an edge on Vecna. So he made that choice. So trying to flip it around like Vecna forced him to do it by proxy is a really weird thing. But, you know, we're talking about a perfect circumstance here on behalf of whoever this person is.
Instead of having a full-on press conference.
There we go. It's so serious, but we're going to use funny sound effects.
For half of Hawkins, so the big monster wouldn't be able to use his secret against him.
I don't understand what this agenda is. Again, I've never.
You're not even like no comment on this video. None. It was too much for him to even process because in order for him to process this, right, he would have to admit that he either agrees or disagrees with the concept of someone's coming out being empowering on their behalf. So I don't even know why you watch this one. This one doesn't really work for you. But let's continue.
Understood it. I've always looked at it as a way for them to use movies and music and acting as a way to desensitize us.
Oh, so that's it. Gay people being able to exist without bigotry. That's what you're talking about. So that is the agenda. So you want us all to stay in the closet because you are too soft to exist around people who aren't like you. That's pretty deep. You should probably look into yourself on that one. Look a little internally on that one.
I think that there's always going to be a bigger agenda, even by movie producers and.
So again, if the agenda is just desensitization to all of this, then what's the bigger agenda? What is? I hate this shit. This tinfoil hat shit. It's like just say what it is, because otherwise, all you're doing is looking for social clout. Say what it is.
Directors and writers and people that produce these type of things. And I'm never going to.
But you've already said that these guys had a popular show already. So what else could they get out of this? What is their goal in that? Like, what would it be?
Get with it. I'm never going to become desensitized to it. I'm always going to be.
So you're always going to be a bigot. Got it. Continue.
Be able to identify it because it's not normal. It's not normal for them to randomly throw something into your face. And then that become the way that we live our lives. Because
nobody's asking you to be gay. I know that you guys feel like seeing a gay person is supposed to make you want to be gay. But here's the thing. You're either gay or you're not. Right? That's what it is. You're either gay or you're not. So unless you're already gay or in the closet or whatever it is you might be, you really don't have anything to worry about. Or is somebody going to sneak up on you and put the gay on you? Like, I don't understand what the fear is.
Because there is an agenda behind it. And the fact that you can't even watch this with your family or you can't watch.
You can, absolutely. You can watch it with your family. Gay people are not anti-family friendly. I'm so fucking annoyed with this. I'm going to get even more like belligerent about this as the year goes on. Just, it's going to be one of those years. I can feel it already.
Watch this with your young children. Without there being something in there that you have to push or you have to adjust for, you have to explain or you have to exclaim.
The only person who thinks it's awkward is you. That's it. I don't know what details you think you have to tell your kids about gay people. It's really simple. If you can explain to a kid what love is like between two straight people, you can explain what love is like between two gay people. It's really that easy. This idea that you have to give like these intimate details about what people are doing in the bedroom, that's on you. And you need to have your head checked if you think that's the way you explain relationships to children.
Or reject openly reject because it's always an agenda pushed behind it.
What is the agenda? What is the fucking agenda?
It's sad and it's unfortunate. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all
I just, again, we got a little hint of it. And the hint was just doesn't want gay people to exist in the world. That's the hint we got. I reject that. My existence is not anti-family. It's not gross. It's not abnormal. It's none of those things. It's none of those things.